people watched the entire conference online yesterday, live streaming from Memphis. Good morning to the thousands of people around the world who have been coming onto our website. We've actually had so much traffic from people coming on to watch the speeches here. We're afraid to tell you about it because you might not come to the next conference. My name is John Nichols. I'm from The Nation magazine and Free Press, and we are so delighted to see all of you. I have the honor this morning of introducing someone who Bernie Sanders, Bob McChesney, and myself would all agree knows more about media policy than the three of us combined. He is the director of our Washington office. He is also an incredible resource for our movement. So the one person who can walk into just about any congressional office and say, hey, Congressman, this is how the media really works. Please welcome our friend, our colleague, Ben Scott.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As John said, I'm Ben Scott. I run the Washington office for Free Press. Pretty much means I'm a DC lobbyist. Not the Jack Abramoff kind of lobbyist. More like the Ralph Nader kind of lobbyist. But let me proceed straight to the business at hand. Introductions like the one I'm about to give are too often dry renditions of honors received and milestones reached. And I'll do some of that today. But our speaker this morning, United States Senator Bernie Sanders, deserves much more and much better. I've known him for about 4 years, and he gave me my start in Washington. I had the privilege of working on his staff in the House of Representatives. The experience was so valuable to me that I'll be in his debt for a very long time, unless he becomes a CEO of a major media company, and then all bets are off. Bernie taught me almost everything I know about Washington politics, how to organize people to fight organized money, and most importantly, how to win unlikely victories against the odds. Bernie is the king of unlikely victories. How does he do it? Well, that's his secret, but if you watch closely, you can see some of the ingredients. For starters, he's a hell of a smart guy. He's a brilliant political strategist and a hard-nosed tactician. But underneath it all, he believes. He believes that the work he is about is just and right. And in the hands of a leader like Bernie Sanders, that is enough to elevate hope from despair and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. In his home state of Vermont, Bernie is a cross between a rock star and a folk hero. Do I have any Vermonters in the audience this morning? All right. Bernie is shaking every hand in the Green Mountain State that wanted to be shook and some that didn't. His energy is legendary. When I worked for him, he ran circles around every one of his 20-something staffers. And he's taken that relentless pursuit of success and put it to work for the people he represents. He did it first for nearly a decade as mayor of Burlington. He did it for 14 years as a congressman from the state of Vermont, a tenure which makes him the longest-serving independent in the history of the House. And now he stands for Vermont as a United States Senator. So I won't get tired of saying that. Bernie was the first national politician to recognize that media was a political issue. He understood long before most of his colleagues that if you want to change the world, you have to change the media with it. With a more democratic media comes a more open-minded and progressive society on every social issue, from healthcare to education to the environment to war and peace. Thanks in no small part to his leadership, media has become a political issue that no politician can ignore. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome an extraordinary friend of the media reform movement, U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders.
I'm always
gets intimidated to get up before an audience after an introduction like that. Anything I say is going to be disappointed. Let me begin by thanking my very good friend and colleague, Bob McChesney, Ben Scotch, Michael Copps, Jonathan Adelstein, John Nichols, and all of you, because together, as Ben just mentioned, we have already taken a giant step forward in transforming our country. Because what we have done, and the size of this conference indicates our success, we have begun the long road to make media a major political issue in America. And more, in campaigns and in non-campaigns, when people who are running for office go before the public, and as Ben mentioned, when they talk about healthcare or the environment or the dozens of other important issues, somebody in the front of the room is going to raise their hand and say, well, what do you think about corporate control over the media? What are you going to do about that? So to the degree that we have already raised consciousness on this issue, we should be very proud. But obviously, we know that we still have a very, very long way to go. I happen to believe that we are reaching a moment when critical mass is kicking in because of your efforts, because of a growing grassroots movement all over America. What I can tell you is that not only in the House is there a media caucus where this issue is now going to reach a higher level than ever before, I can tell you that it's going to happen in the Senate as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can also tell you, absolutely, that we will not succeed unless you are there, unless there is a strong grassroots media which demands fundamental changes in media today and the end of corporate control over our media. We've got to work together on that. Now, you are going to hear from a lot of folks who know more about the details of the media than I do. But what I do know a lot about is how media impacts the political process, what media means for those of us who day after day struggle with the major issues facing our country and a goal of trying to improve the quality of life for all of our people. And I want to spend just a minute in telling you what I suspect most of you already know. If you are concerned, as Ben said, about health care, if you are concerned about foreign policy and Iraq, if you are concerned about the economy, if you are concerned about global warming, you are kidding yourselves if you are not concerned about corporate control over the media, because every one of these issues is directly controlled and directly relevant to the media. Let me just talk about a few. 4 years ago, George W. Bush told the American people that a third-rate military power country called Iraq had weapons of mass destruction and that they were about to attack the United States of America. That's what he told us. I can tell you, because I was there in the middle of that, in opposition to that